All right, let's move on. Before we get to Twitch sexism and favoritism, hashtag Twitch respond by Gideon, we're gonna watch a short video that sparked this original video that Gideon is kind of riding on a little bit by a big YouTuber whose name is coryxkenshin. Okay, for those of you who don't know, coryxkenshin is a black content creator. He's a black YouTuber. He's pretty big. He's got 14.1 million subscribers. And his latest video, which was trending, which was #1 on trending, and then last night it was #3, now it's #32 on trending, which accrued more than 5 million views over the course of 2 days, is about YouTube racism and favoritism. coryxkenshin makes, from what I understand, he makes YouTube Let's Play videos. That's just, you know, that's what YouTubers call video game streams. And he seems like a cool dude. He seems like a very cool dude. And he made this video after he played. He did a Let's Play video on he did a Let's Play video on what's the game he did? Fucking the Autopsy, right? What is it? The scary game that I'm actually gonna potentially play as well. Mortuary Assistant. Sorry, it's an independent horror game by the name of Mortuary Assistant. Okay, thank you, chatters. I want to play it as well. It's very scary from what I understand. It's right up my alley. But one thing I have to mention before we even move on to anything else is that from what I understand, Cory is so family friendly that he goes above and beyond what other content creators on YouTube aren't even doing, where he even basically will bleep out curse words in the game itself. He is very family friendly. I mean, he's got 14 million views. He's one of the largest YouTubers on the planet, obviously. And yeah, someone in the chat said, I let my 13-year-old watch him. Exactly. He is very family friendly. Oh, yes, he watched the Charlie vid. No, I didn't. If I had watched the Charlie video, or if I had watched the Ludwig video, they wouldn't show up on my recommended as new, okay? Why is it that, like, every time I arrive at something that's going on YouTube, I have to have seen Moist Critical's video or Ludwig's video? Why can I have not seen the video on my own? Jesus fucking Christ. Stop self-reporting, okay? Chatters. You probably watch those things. Now I'm going to give you my take. Now, what ended up happening, and I'm going to actually show you this video because it explains it perfectly.
I'm going to try
but what ended up happening is that he made this video called YouTube Racism and Favoritism.
Best to articulate this video as thoroughly, as plainly, as eloquently as possible. I don't want there to be any lost context. I don't want to just look like I'm coming out of nowhere having a temper tantrum because these things are happening. The allegations I am levying towards YouTube are extremely serious, and I'm taking this video extremely seriously. YouTube, you guys either play favorites, you are racist, or it's a mix of the two. These are the three options, YouTube. Which one is it? Here's my proof. I've been doing YouTube a long time, okay? I never want to be that guy, oh, it's because I'm black. Oh, these issues are happening because I'm black. There have been certain situations that I looked at kind of funny. I said, it could be because of that, but nah, I'm not trying to press that. I don't want to build that narrative around my YouTube channel. This time, I can no longer let it slide. This is the situation. August 18th, I uploaded The Mortuary Assistant. A lot of you would know it got age restricted because the following video I did, I let you guys know it got age restricted. YouTube didn't tell me why. I saw that all these other YouTubers were playing The Mortuary Assistant and only my video seemed to be age restricted. And I looked for like an hour, 2 hours. I was scrolling all different types of people's video. No one else's was age restricted. So I appealed the restriction. Hey guys, I'm not sure why mine got age restricted. Could you look into this? Typical. Appeal rejected.
Classic.
They doubled down. The policy team said, no, Cory, your video is restricted for good reason. We're not going to tell you why, but it's restricted. That's our final decision.
Classic.
I said, okay. I get with my YouTube rep. I send him an email. Hey, could you look at this? This is some weird stuff going on. Only my video got age restricted. My YouTube rep, who isn't on the policy team, he looked at my video and he said, hey, it could possibly be this part at the end where the woman was battling some depression. And I'm just going to leave it there, lest this video also get age.
Yeah, so there was a depiction of suicide, from what I understand, in the mortuary assistant game, okay? This is an understandable piece of content that YouTube would 100% age restrict. It's one of those things. If you know anything about these platforms and the terms of service, you know that they're very vague, and they're very vague on purpose, so you can have some leniency for certain content creators, because contextually speaking, banning free speech is a very difficult endeavor, something I talk about all the time. Now, having said that, before you move on to Logan Paul and before you move on to anything else, okay, I don't know every single video that he went through. I didn't look through every single video that he went through to see if the depiction of suicide was in all of those other videos that he's referencing. Okay? It would be an important thing, but there is more to this. That would be important to find out. But there's more to this, because there was at least one person that he found that was a sizable content creator that had not been age restricted, despite having that exact same scene.
Age restricted just because I'm talking about it. So I looked at that part.
Stop saying letting him explain. I've already watched this video. I'm doing a YouTube video describing to you and also everyone else that will maybe watch this YouTube video what he is going to describe. I already watched this video. Shut the fuck up, chatters. Okay? Shut up. I know you watched the YouTube video as well. Okay? Shut the fuck up, you dumb motherfuckers. Can I just please do commentary without you coming in and be like, I know better. He's going to say it. Let him talk.
The first thing I did was try to find other YouTubers who had that part, or at least a part similar. Now, Markiplier, I don't know if you'll ever see this, but I just want you to know I have a lot of respect for you, and I didn't mean to drag you into the middle of this. Your channel just happens to be a great reference point because A, you're a really big YouTuber, and B, you're not black. So I can look at your channel, and then I can look at my channel or look at anyone else's channel and make sure that the things and the games that you play, that they're enforcing the rules equally to everybody. So I go to Markiplier's Mortuary Assistant Part 3, and he had the same situation going on, and his video wasn't age restricted. So I send the video to my YouTube rep. I say, hey, Markiplier has this situation in his video, but his isn't age restricted. Could you say
Markiplier always gets dragged into YouTube moderation controversies? Now, I don't know enough about Markiplier to speak on this, but I have talked to other YouTubers. I've talked to other people about this. The reason why Markiplier gets dragged into it is because YouTube is favoritist. They do apply favoritism to their content creators. Markiplier is an unproblematic YouTuber who does Let's Play video gaming videos, and he's huge. Okay? One of the largest YouTubers on the fucking face of this planet. So because of that reason, and because he's unproblematic and otherwise a good person overall, YouTube, of course, is perfectly fine with having someone like Markiplier be their favorite content creator. Okay? He's the perfect poster boy. He is the perfect poster boy for YouTube. And there's nothing wrong with that, for the record. It's not his fucking fault. Markiplier isn't family friendly. There's cursing and everything. He's just never said the N-word in general. Yes. And this is actually the larger point that I want to make. You've arrived at the correct point, chatter. Because Markiplier is white and doesn't say the N-word, the bar is super fucking low for white content creators in becoming the face of YouTube. Because there's plenty of other large YouTube content creators who are white who have said the N-word, okay? So that's the point. And YouTube itself, and I'm jumping from point to point here, but Markiplier's YouTube video is not age restricted. They come back to Corey and they say, "Oh, my bad," after he basically makes this call out. And sorry, he's Asian. He's not white. Sorry. He's white passing. But he's not black. The point is he's not black. Shut the fuck up. Anyway. Don't come up my ass. I don't have a problem with Markiplier. I think Markiplier is great. I'm explaining the video because I'm going to move on. I'm going to give you my commentary on the situation. Okay? so incredibly difficult doing, especially when it's a situation that isn't like immediate, and it's something that a lot of fucking dumbass chatters know enough about, so they can like chime in and chirp and fucking do the thing. It's like me playing a video game. You know more about the video game than me, so you like can't shut the fuck up in the chat. You gotta chirp, 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 chirp. Trying to ignore the chat as best as I can. Okay. So it's not Markiplier's fault that he's a good person, a good content creator, and therefore one of YouTube's favorite sons. Okay? It's not his fault at all. As a matter of fact, in the past, Markiplier had a similar situation with Charlie. Most Critical's YouTube video was actually age restricted or got hit with the demonetization, whereas Markiplier's YouTube video that featured a similar thing did not, and Markiplier actually fucking posted, said fair is fair, I had this too. YouTube actually ended up clapping both Markiplier's video and Charlie's video. This happens over and over again. This has happened time and time again. Okay? And it's happening here as well. Why? Because there's favoritism. However, in this circumstance, the question that Corey poses is racism also a factor? He mentions certain things. Especially after he gets upset. He has a certain set of questions which I think are pretty adequate, especially because YouTube goes, "Hey, sorry, but you know, we fucked up," which pisses him off further.
He was excited. And they removed it. Now, my YouTube rep, he was excited. He was, "Oh, great, this is awesome. Look, Corey, they took the age restriction off." I said, "Why?" I expected them to triple down and give Markiplier an age restriction too. But they looked at Mark's video and they used that to verify my innocence. So I send my YouTube rep a lengthy email detailing my feelings about the entire situation, feeling like there was some favoritism at play. There was either that or some racism at play, and that I would like to sit down with the policy team and figure out why my video was flagged in the first place. Actually, number one, was it automated or was it a human that age restricted it in the first place? Number two, who was the human reviewer? Because it's a human reviewer once you submit an appeal. Who was the human reviewer that doubled down and rejected my appeal? Number three, why did it take Markiplier's clip in order for them to reverse the decision? My YouTube rep gets back with me. He wants to hop on a call. We get on the phone for about 10, 15 minutes, and I tell him, I've been feeling like this for a long time. I've been feeling like every single time that I come back to YouTube, I'm #1 trending for a few days, and then they find some arbitrary issue. They nitpick and they try and find something that they can incriminate me for and try to push me down. You don't believe?
Okay, so this part was really interesting for me, and this is something I asked questions about further with other content creators who are very deeply knowledgeable on YouTube. One of the things I asked was the #1 trending situation. Now, the trending tab, as we all know, used to be, way back in the day, just whichever YouTube video had the most views. That changed relatively quickly, but now the trending tab is a mixture of like whichever YouTube videos are popping, but also there is a manual control over what gets put on the trending tab. Now, if YouTube, there is a human component to it, right? If YouTube did not want him to actually thrive or succeed, they probably wouldn't allow any videos of his to ever make it on the trending tab, right? Like if that was their ultimate goal. I think YouTube also likes showcasing diversity as long as it's not like, you know, the face of the company, but always loves beefing up diversity initiatives, making it seem like they care about the LGBT community, making it seem like they care about, you know, their black content creators or brown content creators. That's certainly something that YouTube wants to present themselves as doing. It's marketing for the most part, but YouTube undoubtedly has to do that now, partially because everybody does it. Okay, and this video itself went on #1 trending. But also, they have to do it because One, everyone does it. Everyone does the liberal, aesthetics, pandering to diverse audiences and whatnot. But the other reason why they have to do it is because YouTube undoubtedly was racist and still is incredibly racist in its content moderation. It's just the fucking truth. What do I mean by this? Because I know that I even after talking to some people like Ludwig, for example, there was a side of YouTube that they had not even thought about. A side of YouTube that I'm from, that I actually grew up in, basically. Political YouTube. The largest consistent content creators on YouTube aren't necessarily iShowSpeed, that have been around for a very long time, way before iShowSpeed even existed. The largest live streamers on YouTube are not people like Dr. Disrespect. They're people like Steven Crowder, very famously recreated the George Floyd execution. Well, didn't actually recreate it because he was too much of a pussy to do so. And Tim Pool, who was, the classic 50 state landslide Donald Trump's going to win guy. And Ben Shapiro. And before that, Joe Rogan. These are guys that blew the fuck up over the course of the past 10 years, alongside YouTube gaining more prominence. YouTube did not do anything deal with not only these guys, but also all of the Gamergate adjacent content creators, all the neck-bearded, quartering style, Sargon of Akkad, and even way worse, literal fucking Nazis on their platform. And they knew about it. They knew that this was happening on their platform. They let it thrive. They did not try to tweak the algorithm. They did not try to stop it. They didn't try to do anything about it. Do you want to know why I know that? Because I was working with YouTube and Google at the time when I was at the Young Turks. And every time I interacted with any Google employee or any YouTube employee, this was the number one thing I brought up. It was such a gigantic problem for the past fucking 10 years almost on YouTube that I brought it up all the fucking time. Now, things have gotten better. Things have gotten better on YouTube. You no longer have like overt, openly Nazi content creators gain prominence. They still have their accounts and whatnot, but it is never, it's not as powerful or as prescient or as popular as it used to be. But there was a time and place where YouTube had a alt-right rabbit hole. Okay, you could very easily fall down it. Some of you in this community probably fell down it back in the day in the Gamergate era. You had people like PewDiePie who themselves might have even fallen down that similar rabbit hole at a certain point in time. They would collaborate with people like Ben Shapiro, or even in certain instances end up promoting literal Nazi accounts like that ER guy who was who used to make anime videos, who was a straight up Nazi, like an actual straight up fucking Nazi. That was basically that era of YouTube makes what you see with Andrew Tate look laughable. That era of YouTube might have played a fundamental role in the Unite the Right rally, having as many people in attendance as it did, the first one. Okay? Straight up. Lauren Southern. Baked Alaska. Not as much. Sargon of Akkad. All of these content creators, and every single one of them, JonTron. Every single one of these content creators, ranging from, oh, I don't really understand this sort of thing, to like straight up Nazis. Okay? Paul Joseph Watson. Okay? Alex fucking Jones, Stefan Molyneux. Joe Rogan gave platforms to these people like Milo Yiannopoulos. Okay? Notch. These people all blew the fuck up and normalized white supremacist values, white supremacist attitudes. They aligned themselves with white supremacists, and it was a killing. Okay? It was a straight up killing for them. They destroyed it. They were doing so goddamn well for a very, very long time. A platform that is not racist would 1,000,000% turn around and deal with that shit immediately. But YouTube turned a blind eye to it because it was growing as a platform and it wanted to keep growing as a platform. And for that reason, they didn't care enough. that negligence is still racist. Okay? When you have that level of awesome power and you don't do anything about it and you abdicate your responsibility, okay? That's it. You're not doing a good job. You are still participating in racist outcomes. Why is JonTron bad? A lot of people don't know this. JonTron was another person who was in the alt-right rabbit hole. I think he still is probably. I don't really care because he's kind of irrelevant. But yes, JonTron was very much one of those fucking dudes. Like very, very racist. He even had, he even went so far as to say, just completely made up shit. Like rich black people do more crime than poor white people. Like he was just trying, he was one of those types of racists. Okay? When you're a platform like YouTube, you have a certain set of responsibilities. When you see the generation, the next generation, the upcoming generation turn straight up right wing and have like some of your top content creators in the space, in the essayist space, collaborate with some of the top content creators on the platform itself, are 2 degrees removed from like literal fucking neo-Nazis, like Lauren Southern went and worked with actual out and about neo-Nazi groups like Identity Europa to try to stop migrant ships from coming into Europe, like physically stop a treacherous trip for said migrants on fucking pontoons and shit that is already deadly. Okay? You're basically offering a platform to Nazis when you don't do anything about it. Okay? They tweaked it to feature more marginalized views. Used to be all roads led you to the most popular vids called Gangnam Style Problem. So they mixed in less popular vids, which led to far-right vids. Algo tweak happened just before this era you speak of. Anyway. There's definitely a difference between someone like PewDiePie and JonTron, though. Yeah, for sure. I've talked about this many times. PewDiePie himself had really good takes about like, he has combated, back in 2016, PewDiePie was going on podcasts, combating the misinformation about Muslims in Sweden. Like he literally was openly anti-Islamophobic. And then a couple years later, he was putting Ben Shapiro on. A couple years later, he was putting ER, which is a straight up Nazi channel, in his like 100 million subscription video promoting them. You know what I mean? Now he's no longer in the public spotlight as much, and I do think that he probably is no longer as I don't think he has the same attitude that he once did. But I can never know. I don't know. But yes, for those reasons, and for not adequately applying their terms of service, which already existed, YouTube was behaving in a racist way.
Believe me? What happened the last time I came back and I was #1 trending for like a week? They copyright struck me for a video that was in 2019 or something like that. Why don't these issues ever crop up when I'm not uploading? I mean, I'm not on YouTube like 9 months out of the year. Nothing ever happens until I come back and I start uploading again and I'm getting my numbers, they're climbing, they're exploding, I'm #1 trending, and then they're like, hey, we need to stop him. We need to, this black man, he's getting too many views. He's getting too much exposure, too much activity. Hold that thought. Let's get back to the current situation. So my YouTube rep assures me he's going to continue this dialogue with the policy team and try to get some answers to those 3 questions that I had. So another day, another 2 days go by, and what do you know? They re-age restricted the video. They age restricted the video. I say, no way did they do that. I go to Markiplier's video now, and now his video is age restricted. They got caught with their pants down. They got called out, and then they had to go back and say, oh, whoa. Okay, we see the narrative that he's kind of pushing here. We need to take some steps back. We need to just age restrict them both and be done with it. You thought that I wasn't going to like talk about this, make a video about it? You realize how bad this looks for you, YouTube. You realize how unfair this comes across. I, in all my years, have never seen a video get age restricted, de-age restricted, and then age restricted again. Have any of you ever seen that happen before? They saw that I saw that there was some unfair stuff going on. So then they tried to appease me by de-age restricting the video. I say, wait, why are you doing that? Because I sent Markiplier's clip. And then they say, oh, okay, well, let's just age restrict them both. Why is my channel so much more heavily scrutinized than my peers? My peers, and when I say peers, I mean people around my level, around my view count, just to keep it simple. Why is my channel so much more thoroughly scrutinized? Especially so when I've been #1 trending multiple days in a row, which I've done multiple times. And every single time I start to get an uptick in traction, an uptick in activity, here comes YouTube coming through. Hey, let's get him for that video from 2019. Yeah, you see this, Corey? No, this is bad. It wasn't bad the 9 months that I was off the platform. It was only bad when I got back and I was #1 trending. This situation was only bad because I've been #1 trending since I got back. Every other YouTuber has uploaded the Mortuary Assistant. And now they're about to start putting in some age restrictions because I called them out on some unfair behavior. Now, I realize that when you call someone a racist, that's a very, very serious accusation. And for that matter, how do you expressly prove that someone is a racist? I mean, unless they're spamming the N-word in the chat. How do you really know? And admittedly, I cannot 100% prove that race had everything to do with this. But I can tell you the people on that policy team, those shadow people that are anonymous and get to enact their will however they see fit. How can we be sure that they take a black person's video and a white person's video, and it can be the same exact video, and they restrict the black person's video, but not the white person's video? I feel I've been mistreated for a long time. I mean, even when we hit 10 million subscribers and I was supposed to get my diamond play button and there was no correspondence, these situations always coincide with an uptick of growth. And it always just comes off like we can't let this black guy get too high up. I mean, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I'm telling you, that's how it comes off. I don't see any other YouTuber that gets #1 trending many times and then all of a sudden they're getting age restricted and they're getting copyright strikes and all of that. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Point them out. I want to see them. I'll retract this entire video. I'll make a public apology to YouTube. I have no problem. My dad taught me if you make a mistake, be a man and address it and apologize. I will do that. No problem. But to me, you know what it comes off? It comes off whenever coryxkenshin starts doing some crazy numbers or getting on trending too much. We got to find something.
So here's one thing I will say about this. I already think YouTube definitely turned a blind eye to racism, which is racist in and of itself. You could only do that if you don't give a shit because you don't care about the lasting impact that like white supremacy running rampant on your platform will have. However, in this circumstance, I think YouTube is more so on the side of favoritism. And with respect to the delicate matter of handling a very prominent black content creator's channel, I don't think that they provide the adequate measures that they probably should be. If you truly do want to address specific biases, one thing that you have to do in a situation like this is understand that if you're a black content creator on a platform where there's a lot of fucking racist teenagers on, you have to you have to understand that like every single time he uploads, there is going to be a much larger wave of people that are reporting his channel. There is going to be a much larger wave of people that are probably going to look to take him down. I don't think it's YouTube itself that sees that he's popping off and decide we got to take him down a peg. Because if that was the case, they wouldn't put him on the trending tab to begin with. Remember, because the trending tab is, to a certain degree, manually controlled. So I think what a lot of moderation teams don't understand is that when you are a controversial figure, like me, even though I am white, or a black figure, which is unfortunately in an otherwise racist environment considered to be controversial when it's not, there is a significant, there's a very delicate way of dealing with those affairs. And I think when you don't have enough black people in your moderation team, or when you don't listen to black content creators that are getting unfairly targeted, for example, and then you don't create an adequate response mechanism to dealing with the sea of ridiculous and unfair reports that black content creators get. Okay? That is a lighter form of racism. It's just like negligence. A systematic blind spot that many corporations have. So that's where I think this problem comes from. I don't think it's YouTube like purposely moving chess pieces around in this nefarious way, but white supremacy is insidious. It is such a core, such a fundamental part of American existence that people don't even recognize when they are behaving in a manner that is consistent with white supremacy, right? It's very difficult to tackle. Not to get all Ibram Kendi here, but that is the truth. And a lot of these people spend a fuckload of time on the internet. The people that will do false reports and things like that. The people that would genuinely not want a black content creator to thrive on the platform. And those people know how to game the system very well. So that's what I think in this situation. But I do hope that he keeps uploading his videos. I think he's doing, seems great.
We got to get him for something. He's got to have done something. I mean, I bleep out cuss words in video games. Like, I literally...
The 9-month copyright strike comes from that. I don't think it's like YouTube itself implementing that. It's YouTube more so letting his account get kind of fucked over. You see what I'm saying? Because they don't even understand what the measures that you need to take are, how delicate these kind of matters can be, how much more vigilant you need to be when dealing with larger black content creators, especially.
Literally, this is the YouTuber that you want to have smoke with and have problems with. I believe there is some racism involved within the policy team, and YouTube in general really doesn't care about black people like that. They got their favorite creators. You know,
yeah, it's like how you always get VOD banned in Germany. It's just psycho haters abusing report systems. Exactly. That's a great point. NetzDG is the German hate speech law. A lot of the fucking same weirdos that would that violate hate speech laws regularly and don't like my attitude and don't like my ideology will use and abuse the hate speech laws in Germany to get my VODs region locked regularly. They try it every day. Every day I get NetzDG reported. Some days it doesn't hit. Other days it does. The difference is someone like Markiplier is probably not going to get the same level of scrutiny that a black content creator is getting to begin with. Like the predisposition, the built-in like resentment that white supremacists will have with someone like a popular black content creator. And then secondarily, even if he did, because YouTube is is more delicate and more careful with their largest content creators who they say as who they see as the face of YouTube, which, by the way, Markiplier has nothing to do with this, okay? So don't fucking don't think like I am saying that he's bad or something. I'm not. I'm not at all. Okay? And after this, I will talk about Gideon's situation as well. But even if he did get like a lot of reports or whatever, YouTube would probably deal with it more delicately.
Log out of YouTube. Log out and go to YouTube. You'll see the people on the front page every single day. You'll see the favorites. Count how many are black. Count how many are of people of color. So then what does YouTube try and do? They try and peddle YouTube black. They try and give us a spotlight. And do you know how condescending and patronizing that is?
Oh, he literally brought it up. Okay. This is what I was going to say. Like, yeah, that is a very apparent diversity initiative that is just pandering. It's the same energy as YouTube consistently banning LGBT content creators or demonetizing LGBT content creators so that they like to a degree where it's like impossible for them to fucking exist in this environment where they can make money, right? And create content, even if it's helpful, right? I mean, this is something that LGBT YouTube community members and like left tube content creators, BritTube content creators have seen and experienced for a very, very long time. It's almost the exact same problems because it's coming from a place of like people abusing the false reporting system and YouTube not having the adequate way of dealing with that false report system.
Oh, yeah, let's give a spotlight to these black creators because we're all about diversity. All this communicates is black people aren't good enough on their own skill, on their own merits, on their own talent. So we got to give them a spotlight. We got to come down and raise them up so they can get some spotlight action. Well, how about you save all that YouTube black, all that fake patronage, all that fake pandering that you guys do. And when you have a black creator coming to you repeatedly saying, why am I being treated differently than other creators? And then you come back and, oh, we got to age restricted. And then, oh, no, he's on to us. Okay, we got to age restrict them both. Fake! It's fake. That's what it is. I am deeply sorry that this came off as a rant. In the beginning, I wanted to keep my emotions out of it. I wanted to stay logical, stay on the things that I could prove. I gave you the facts, but it also turned into me venting the emotions that I've had built up around YouTube. Ironic that I have to upload this on YouTube, but where else am I going to upload it? I worked hard. I built this community from the ground. It's taken me over a decade.
Mark has definitely gone to bat for people who sees being treated unfairly by YouTube. A smaller YouTuber got a strike, not a copyright, but 3 strikes for a clip he reacted to. A clip Mark also reacted to, and Mark says either remove the strike or give me one, and they gave him one and then remove both. Shit is whack. Yeah, no, it's just ridiculous
to do. And I would have just hoped that the playing field was fair and that, hey, if I did something bad, then everybody else who also did that thing should get punished too. Is that unreasonable?
Bro, he's apologizing for talking about smaller creator. Wait, that's Charlie? That was the Charlie situation? You're so funny, dude. Charlie, the smaller content creator. Okay, listen. The reason why he has to apologize is because he's on fucking YouTube, okay? And when you're a content creator on YouTube, you got to apologize for the sensibilities of a relatively fragile white base of watchers, okay? If there's one thing that white people fucking absolutely cannot stand more than anything else, it's a black person saying something is racist, okay? There's just a part of fucking white people that just like Their brains break when they hear it. They're like, oh, well, hold on now. It's just, it is how it is. And especially when you're on YouTube, you definitely got to apologize for it. It's the same as like the whole free speech energy. Okay? It's like us telling you something is ableist. Yeah, exactly. Because I am one.
I have no problem being punished. I have no problem if I break a rule that I get punished for it and I learn. But when you start like, when it's targeted, when you're doing things only because I'm like getting bigger, or I don't know how it always seems to coincide with that situation. But that's just what it is. Now, if
I don't think it's a grand conspiracy.
Shadow banned, or they like, they start like.
White supremacy, much like capitalism, is built into our everyday existence in such a permanent way that when people are behaving in ways that are consistent with the oppression associated with capitalism or white supremacy, they don't even recognize they're doing it half the fucking time. It's a blind spot that a lot of people have, which is part of the reason why it's not like this insidious conspiracy to undermine his channel. It's more so not effectively preventing other people from coming in and trying to ruin his image or trying to fucking destroy him because they just don't see it. They don't understand it. They don't understand what it takes to grow in this field as a black content creator. I think that's what it is. Yeah.
Not sending my videos out to my subscribers, or in a couple months from now, y'all just stop seeing my videos. We know why. I mean, those shadows behind the scenes, they control it all. They control all of it. If they don't want my channel, they could terminate it right now. They could hide my videos. They could shadow ban me, not send my videos out to anybody. That's True. Why I thought long and hard before I recorded this. But as one of the biggest black creators on the platform, I want you to hear it from my mouth that there is some shady business going on behind the scenes at YouTube.
So I think it's a decent video. It's a really good video. I understand his frustrations for sure. Andreas Streeter says, my favorite take on this type of thing is that white entertainers are allowed to be unique and break molds, but black entertainers are expected, knowingly or unknowingly, fit a small range of preconceived archetypes. Yes. Which in a weird way kind of also falls in line with this video. A black content creator by the name of Gideon, who does do a lot of content that falls in line with what other white content creators have done time and time again. Now, do I think this is like a little bit trolly? I do. While I agree with what coryxkenshin's take was with respect to YouTube to a certain degree, even though I do think it's more